Okay. What's up? Greetings and salutations. You have a few minutes to pile in while we get situated. Um, if you all can hear the background. But I think of Mississippi. Greetings, salutations. No music, no intro. We're going right into the show. This is TNathan, and you're listening to Conversations with TNathan as we cover Hurricane Helene. Greetings, salutations. Mhm. Greetings, salutations, everyone. Come on in. If you are in the Florida area, check in. Check in. I'm hoping no one is in the path of the storm as it makes landfall in approximately 10 to 15 minutes. Yes, I am safe. I am not even on this map. I am in Kansas. I am in Kansas. Yeah. And even when I was in Mississippi, I'm like on the other side of Mobile in Mississippi when I lived in the coast. But we're looking at this monster storm make landfall as a category 4. Yeah. You all make sure you all are safe. Um, Everyone's safe out there. Check in, give some people time to catch up. I know. Wow. Just looking at this storm, it is incredible. It is. This is a large storm. And to watch it, I watched this storm today go from a category 2 to a category 4. Okay. Yeah. Let me get some audio. Give me just a minute, you all. And I'm going to get some audio to go with our story, get some coverage. Is it just me or is T hard to hear? Is it hard to hear me? Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Is it hard to hear me? Do I need need to remove the mic? What about now? Is that better? Hold on. Make sure nobody's been messing with my audio. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Right?
Exactly this. And what I mean by that is when the rainfall hits and then you've got the storm surge hitting and then you add to that high tide,
Testing,
there's
testing.
absolutely nowhere for this water to go. And in fact, this does seem pretty high already. It's a little bit below my knees here, but we're being told it's probably still got a couple more feet because high tide is around the top of the hour and 1 o'clock in the morning. So even though this storm is all the way up by the panhandle, several hours from where we are, we're still not only feeling the effects of the storm surge, which again is pushing all this water in,
Right.
we're still seeing some of that rainfall, we're still seeing some of that strong wind, and yet we still have to deal with the fact that we have high tide, which is going to hit tonight. which is why we
High
don't
tide
expect
hadn't
a
even hit.
lot of this flooding to recede
He needs
until
just as
tomorrow
many
morning
mics as
when
he
low
does
tide comes in.
screens.
Unbelievable. Carlos
Laura?
Suarez, please
I have
stand
this
by.
mic.
I want to go back to
I
John
have
Berman. He
this
is in
mic.
Tallahassee.
These are the
John,
only
what is it
ones I
like
have
for you
hooked
right
up.
now?
I have another mic in the drawer too.
Very wet.
Yeah, I
The
might
water
break it
was
out
getting into our
tomorrow.
wires, which is why we lost audio before,
I'll
and it's
break it
down
out
now in my
tomorrow.
boots. I mean, you can't wear rain gear that keeps rain
No
gupping
problem, Jay.
like
No
this. I
problem
mean, it's
about
just
being
coming
late.
from every direction now.
We're
The
doing
winds are
coverage
picking up, and
of
it
the
is going to
storm.
get progressively worse
Is
over
the
the next
balance
several
between me
hours.
and the
Once the storm
background
makes
good?
landfall
Can you all
south
hear
of here,
me?
it will
Is
really
the balance
speed
good?
right over at Tallahassee. In Tallahassee, while there have been named storms that have passed over the last several decades, none that seem like they're going to be as
I'm
strong
trying to
as
see if I
Hurricane
could like.
Helene is, with sustained hurricane force winds over this city of some 200,000 people. This city that's got the beautiful live oaks everywhere. And what they're
200.
most concerned about here in Tallahassee isn't the storm
It's
surge.
good. The
That's going to
balance is
happen
good
25
between the
miles
background
south
and my
of here.
voice.
They're concerned
I just
about
have
the
to sit
winds
like this.
bringing the trees down, knocking power out, closing hundreds
And I know
of
it's
roads. They're concerned over the next day or
hold
so. And
tight,
then, of
hold
course,
tight.
there's the rain also. I mean, it's rained in parts of this county
It's
8
my
inches
fault because I don't like this
already.
mic
And I
directly
don't
in
think
my
the worst of it's going to
face.
come down
Y'all
over the
know,
next
y'all know
hour or
that.
so. So it's just so wet. The
Uh,
ground is
mm.
so saturated. It's going to create major, major problems overnight. Everyone hopefully
So,
inside now. You're going to
how
ride
y'all
this
doing?
out over the
All
next
of you
several
all are
hours,
safe.
Laura.
Everybody
And
is
again,
making
Berman,
sure
there
the
are
people,
colleges in Tallahassee,
if they
Florida.
have
There
any
are students who
family
are
or
probably far
friends
from
in the
home wondering
Tallahassee
how
area,
they're
have y'all
sheltering. And the
checked on
FEMA
them?
administrator has all but begged residents to take this hurricane seriously, to even seek shelter on higher ground. Have locals heeded
Are
those
you in
calls?
GCPR land, or
So Florida
have you
State,
all
you mentioned the
checked on your
colleges. Florida
relatives
State,
in the
they
Florida
evacuated
area
several
to
of
make
their
sure
dorms on campus and moved students
they
into
have moved?
one
Technical
evacuation center. Some
difficulties?
750 students
Really? Y'all
moved
still can't
out,
hear me?
and many of those students are staying in a shelter. The football team got out
Oh, it's
early so they
not.
could get to their game this
Testing, testing,
weekend.
testing.
So yeah, in
Hold
Tallahassee
on.
itself, Leon
It,
County, the evacuation orders, the
okay, the
mandatory
radio
orders were
station is
only
good.
for
I get
mobile
it
homes and
might be.
manufactured homes. Those were the
I don't know.
mandatory
It
orders.
might
Everyone
be.
else just
Yeah,
told
it
to be
might be something
really,
else
really
because all
careful.
my
And be
lights are
careful
lighting up.
means pay attention to where the trees are near your house. Governor DeSantis, the last time he spoke, talked about when
Robert,
you
you can't
hear
hear.
the limbs
Robert
cracking,
can't
you know
hear.
there's a problem. Get somewhere safe inside
Biff,
your home, into a
Biffy
center
Boppity
room,
can hear.
maybe a bathroom, depending on where you live,
Angel
maybe a
can hear.
basement. We're
It
looking at
might
so many
be on
basements
you all's
in
end
this
then.
part of Florida, but
Okay.
that's the main
Yeah.
concern, and that's what you need,
Might be on
where
y'all.
you need to take precautions, Laura.
Well,
Clack
John
is
Berman, I hope you
listening
heed that
from a
advice as
rotary.
well. Stand by. We're going to keep relying on you. Let's turn now
Yeah.
to CNN
All right.
meteorologist Derek Van Dam,
Clack,
who
what
is
you
in
hear in the background
Apalachicola,
is
Florida.
the
You're in that
reporting coming
Big
in
Bend
live
area.
from
What is the situation like on the ground
the
there at this
area.
very hour?
We're expecting to have
Yeah,
landfall in
we're
the
in
next 10 to
Apalachicola, so
15 minutes.
we're roughly 50 miles or so from the
And this is
center
going
of
to make
Hurricane
landfall
Helene,
as
which
a
is now
category
just
4
moments
hurricane,
away from making landfall in
a
Taylor
category
County.
4.
You know, just
Good on
watching for these
YouTube.
updates because remember,
Okay.
landfall
X
is
says
not
I'm
when
good.
the
Right.
eye
Clack, you got a
wall
rotary phone.
crosses land. It
It's
actually has to
Clack's
have
rotary phone.
50% or more of the eye to
Yeah.
cover to go over land, and this is important because it effectively begins the
It's
process
worse.
of taking away its energy source, which is the
I'm getting a lot
abundantly
of messages
warm,
at the same time. All right.
record-breaking
That
warm
one.
ocean waters.
Is
So
it headed
this is
toward
going to stop its
Mar-a-Lago?
strengthening process, which it has been doing for
Unfortunately not.
several
It is
days
due
and
to make
rapidly here within
landfall
the
around the
past
Big
24
Bend
hours.
area.
Two different rapid
And it's
intensification
expected to
cycles
still be a
before its
strong
final
hurricane
approach to land.
when it runs
So
across
we are
Tallahassee.
just seeing what's happening
And
and unfolding as this
if you
storm
know, I
makes
don't know if you've ever
its
lived in
imminent
Florida.
landfall.
I've lived in
And
Leon
in the Big
County.
Bend region, not only with the record-breaking
Those
storm surge
trees
coming out of
are
Cedar Key,
going to go
eclipsing
flying. Those
Hurricane
palm trees
Idalia,
they have in that
that's
area.
happening as we speak.
The
But
storm
there is this
surge has been
extreme wind
said it's
warning, and I want to
unsurvivable.
talk about how important that
And
is
some
because the
people were
National
getting
Weather Service
mad with the
reserves that
warning for
with
only the
the
most
local
extreme events
emergency
such
response
as
team
this.
there?
And they asked the residents who
Did
decided,
you understand?
Laura, not
They told the
to
people, if
actually
you choose to
evacuate,
stay,
that they need to treat
you need
this
to make sure
where they're under this
that
extreme
you
wind warning
write
in Taylor County, for
your
instance.
name
Treat this as if
on
a
your leg
tornado was
in
barreling down
a
at
black
your
market.
house. So you need to move into the
They
center
want,
of your
I'm
home,
going
away
to
from
read you the
windows, the
exact
sturdiest
word,
part of your
because
home,
people were like,
to
I
ride
can't
out
believe they
this
said that.
storm.
I can't
And I think
believe you
it's
all want
really
to
important to
endanger
note, too,
first
if we do
responders.
have viewers that are tuning in and around the eye or will receive the center of Hurricane Helene as she works
Right?
her way inland,
The
this
Taylor County
storm
Sheriff's
will
Department
go
Division
calm
of
for a
Emergency
period of
Management said,
time. This is the
we are
nature of
requesting
hurricanes,
that all
especially when
residents,
they're this
guests, and
powerful.
evacuees
And
refrain
you
from
may get
returning to the area
curious. You may want to go
until
check out
officially
your
directed
property,
by the
your
emergency.
your
Hold on.
business, your home.
Can
That
y'all
is not the time to do it, because what will happen.
hold on? Is that better? I'll cut that out while I read this part and show you the map that I am looking at. This is the map of the storm. Like I say, it's expected, the eye wall is expected to be fully on land within the next 10 to 15 minutes. I have family in Tampa. I haven't been able to reach them. Tampa, Tampa has a lot of flooding in Tampa. It took a good grazing by the storm. Tampa, the flooding in Tampa and other areas is immense. Um, all right, and this is it. It goes on. This is from the Taylor County Sheriff's Office. If you or someone you know chooses not to evacuate, please write your name, birthday, and important information on your arm or leg in a permanent marker so that you can be identified and your family notified. And some people were calling that insensitive. I was like, if you want to be identified, you need to, if you chose to stay past the evacuation order on a coastal town in Florida in the direct path of this storm, and then you want to hop on and call 911, they say no. Yeah, they said no. And I'm sorry, I concur. I concur. You can look at this storm. You cannot expect people to endanger their lives when they gave you plenty of evacuation notice. And then the thing about some of these areas like Taylor County, it's even doubly because they offered evacuation notices. And if you didn't have the ability to evacuate, they were providing evacuating services for you. Um, so yeah, that's it. If you choose to stay, this and hey, hey, Sun Apple, yes, they are safe because my family and friends, we have an understanding. TNathan is not coming into a hurricane area until the hurricane is well past that area. Now, I will be um, assessing the damage, and like we did with Rolling Fork, Mississippi, after the tornado hit, um, I if if it's bad enough and we are able to, we'll probably try to see if we can organize something for the residents of Florida. I haven't been to Florida in over 2 years, but I have friends that live in the Tallahassee, Leon County area, Quincy, and I just knowing that area like I do, it is not designed to withstand a storm of this magnitude. It's not. The storm is 400 miles out. It extends 400 miles out from its center. Winds, um, I want to see wind wind speed is 30 miles per hour. Gust, um, wind gusts out from the bands of 50 miles per hour. Wind speed is 140 miles per hour with maximum sustained wind gusts of 160 miles per hour. That's what we're looking at right now. Your folks left Sun Apple? Yeah. Tallahassee is not the place to be today. Like I said, and I look at the damage in Tampa, and Tampa didn't even take a direct hit from the storm. I'm in Leon County area. Here, Florida is getting bad too. You're still in Leon County. You stayed. Do we have a comparison with another hurricane so we can get a mental? Ivan, Ivan, yeah. Come picture Ivan. Picture the devastation by Ivan. I don't. This is a Category 4. This storm is the strongest Katrina was when it made landfall. This storm is actually stronger than Katrina was when it made landfall. This storm, but Katrina made landfall right at the mouth of the Mississippi, so it had warm waters to still go churn up as it caused damage. Tallahassee is about 70 miles, I think, from where it will make landfall. As a matter of fact, Tallahassee is getting brutalized right now. Somebody, all right, all right now. You say you're in Leon County right now? You're in the county today, right now? Leon County is where Tallahassee is located, in Quincy. And so your comparison, Ivan, would be the closest comparison for this area, for Florida, that you would have in recent history. And it wasn't as strong as this. Give me an update on what's going on. Uh, Give me an update of what's going on in that area. My mom is on a cruise on Florida. I haven't been able to reach her. I'm sure they rerouted the cruise out of the path of the storm. I'm sure they did. I'm hoping. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. But what are the we got all right now in the comment section, and I'm trying to get an update from them on what's unfolding in Leon County. So we're just waiting for them to check back in with us. Yeah, Robert, do you know the route? What is or the name of the cruise? And possibly I could look it up for you and tell you where it's located at now. Because cruise ships do find Puerto Rico. What's the cruise line, Robert? Petra, you in here? Petra. Need your wind and rain right now. Still have power. Some power people lost power. So we're getting reports from Tallahassee, from Leon County. I don't know how far you are from Tallahassee or what side of Leon County you're on, but all right is telling us that wind and rain right now and the storm is just coming ashore. The eye wall is just clearing the shore. And in Tallahassee, oh, you're in Tallahassee. Oh, shit. Are you safe? Are you somewhere safe? All right now. You see, you have access to the storm path that we're tracking right now. Hold on, let me put some. You're not going to be able to see because that's one of the problems with CNN.
And on the backside of an eye will
Let's see what
be
they're saying.
a change in wind directions and winds just as fierce as what you were struck with on the northern side of the eye wall. So I think it's really important that people understand that this extreme wind warning, the most intense part of Hurricane Helene right now, is not that time to go outside and check on your property. This is the time to bunker down and really just ride this storm out as best as possible. Apalachicola here, I think we've been spared the worst, but we are really going to be thinking about the people to our east who are taking the brunt of this storm. And as a meteorologist here, I'm fearful what sunrise will
Thank
bring
you for the news. My
for the
home
Big
had
Bend
trees
area
around it,
and
so
so
we're
many other locations
a long
that are being
okay.
impacted by this. You know, there's no doubt in my mind, Laura, that this will be another billion-dollar disaster to write in the history books.
Another
My
billion-dollar
God, Derek Van
disaster.
Dam,
I'm
thank
gonna
you so
go
much.
higher
Please
than that.
stand by, and thank you for those warnings to make
I'm
sure
going
people are
higher than $1
aware
billion.
this is not the time to go and check property. I want to bring in CNN meteorologist Chad Myers. He is at the Weather Center. The
All right, let's
latest
listen to
advisory
Chad.
saying that Hurricane Helene is very close to making landfall in that Florida Big Bend. And you just heard our colleague. What is
Florida
your
Big
biggest
Bend
concern
area.
right now?
Certainly that we have a 7.5 or 8-foot surge, and it's only
Greetings,
about halfway done because
I
now
see
that
you,
the
Reese.
center of the eye has moved very close to shore or onshore, now it's going to be the west wind that pushes all that water back
Hey,
into
Stan,
Steinhatchee, into Cedar Key,
Petra, you
and
here
the water's
yet?
just going to go up all night long. And we talked to people earlier today that said, we're not leaving, we're going to stay. And I think that might have been the wrong answer. We're going to have to see that in the morning. Perry, you just got a wind gust of 76, seeing some other gusts now over 90 miles per hour. Also, the threat of tornadoes on the ground tonight when a landfalling
hear the
hurricane
report in the
gets
background?
into the
I
land
put it
itself.
up here
The
also
storms
so
that
people could
rotate
read it
around it
that
start to
can't hear.
feel the friction of the land. They begin to spin, and some of those can put down tornadoes. We've already had a couple reports of some damage today. So there's the eye. Before I got here, just 2 minutes ago, I was anxiously hitting refresh as fast as I possibly could because we are right there on the edge of half of the eye being on land and the other half of the eye being still offshore. That's exactly when that center passes. That's when they call
You're not gonna have a picture with
landfall. We'll
CNN.
still have to see.
I have
This
to
is
go back to the
140
map in
mile
a
per hour
minute
wind
when it
here
refreshes.
in this center. That's the problem we're seeing right now. Berman back up here in Tallahassee getting these outer bands. Derek back over here still seeing the northern bands getting pushed that water away.
Yeah.
And then Cross City,
So
Steinhatchee, towards
we're
Cedar Key. Boy, that water
we're
could go
getting-
up.
We're going to hear for a moment. The
5 or
governor
10
is
Petra,
speaking.
where are
Listen
you?
in.
Maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. It is moving northeast at 24 mile per hour. Hurricane force winds are extending up to 60 miles from the center of the storm, and tropical storm force winds are extending 300 miles from the center of the storm. I'm joined here,
Put
of
the
course,
information.
by Kevin Guthrie, the Division of Emergency Management Executive Director.
I don't want to see
as well
the
as Dave
Santas. I'll
Kerner,
listen to
Executive
him. I don't want to
Director
hear
of
him
the
anyway.
Florida Highway
But Petra,
Patrol. We have
Robert, yeah,
had
Robert,
a
Petra's here.
report
Put the
of a
information about the
fatality on
cruise ship
roadway.
your mother is
Car
on,
driving,
so Petra
on
can look it
I-4
up for
near
me.
Ybor City in Tampa was hit when a sign
If you look at the
fell,
information Robert's about to put into the live
highway.
about the
So that
cruise
just
ship his
shows you that it's
mother
very
was
dangerous
on,
conditions out there.
that was supposed to be
You
docking in
need to
Florida,
be
and see if
right
you can
now,
find out where it's
just
located at now.
hunkering down. Now is not the time to be going out. Not only are we seeing it hit landfall here in northern Florida, you're still seeing surge and water rising in parts of Florida far south from the Big Bend area. So you look at southwest Florida, you look at the Tampa Bay area, you're seeing really significant amounts of surge. There's going to be streets that are flooded and will continue to flood all up and
Robert,
down the
you get
west
my
coast
message?
of Florida. So it's hazardous conditions right now, and please, do not be going outside until things settle down.
You got the
We
information,
know
Petra?
that travel on the roads can be hazardous, and we typically, unfortunately, will have fatalities in every storm from that. When you are out on the roads in the middle of one of these storms, that is very, very dangerous. So please do not do that. Stay put. Also, if you're sheltering in place, know your surroundings in terms of trees. You are going to see trees that are going to get knocked down. I'm sure some have already been knocked down. But you have these 140-mile-an-hour winds hitting here in North Florida. This is going to extend. I mean, you're going to have hurricane force winds that are going to extend across a couple counties to the east and west of Taylor County. And that's going to cause
put the information
trees
in
to fall down.
of where
If
the
you
cruise
are
ship was supposed
in
to
an
stop.
area where you have that, please take precautions
Take a
there.
screenshot of
Treat
it.
it almost like a tornado as that's going
send it
by
to you.
you. for there. We have many major bridges that have been closed throughout today at various points. Most of the major bridges, of course, in places like Tampa Bay have been closed. And they will be open as soon as it's safe to reopen them. We have FDOT, they're standing by. As soon as it's safe, they're going to go in there, do the inspections, and get those bridges open again.
What you all see up on the screen,
You may,
that's
if
the
you're
radio
here in North
station.
Florida, you may have a period of
It tells
calm
me how long I've been streaming.
when you are in the eye of the storm. Just understand that storm is not done, and it's very, very hazardous to go out for there, especially with how fast this storm is moving. You're going to be putting yourself in jeopardy if you try to go out in the middle of the eye wall of the storm. We are going to see down power lines. Those are very hazardous as well. Please do not mess with any down power lines in and around your home or anywhere you may come in
Somebody else
contact with
just
them.
get
Also,
tired of his
be very
voice.
careful about standing water. People get up in the morning when it's light out. There's going to be standing water in a lot of parts of the state.
Salutations, everyone.
Don't go trudging through that. There's going to be a lot of hazards that could be in there, and please be mindful of that. The storm is going to pass, and when it does pass, you're going to have still going to be dark outside. Do not go out in the pitch black trying to navigate any debris or anything. That's just not going to be the safe thing to do. Wait till you get light and you can take stock of what's going on in your property
My
and
goodness.
govern accordingly
Listening
from
to,
there.
I'm like,
when you're using
please
ladders,
can somebody
please be
stop him?
safe.
But we
Be
need
safe
this
with that.
information.
We do have
So
fatalities
we're going to make an
involving
exception
people
and
climbing on
make sure we get
ladders,
this
trying to get
information
to their
out
roofs and
for
falling.
people
And
just
that
in
happens
case.
almost
Like I said,
every
the radio,
storm.
this is going out on the
Please just
radio,
be very careful with
and
that.
some people
And also, of course,
might not
there's gonna
have
be an enormous
anything
amount
but
of
radio.
debris in various
So
places.
we're going to leave that playing in
You
the
could have down
background.
power lines. You
And like I
could
said, I
have
We
hope y'all
are
can,
listening to the Governor Ron DeSantis.
thank
I want
you.
to break in
They
here.
cut him
Landfall
off.
has been made. The storm Helene has now made landfall as a Category 4. I want to go to John Berman, who is in the bullseye. Let's talk to him in Tallahassee. John Berman is now made landfall as a Category
Helene
4
has
hurricane.
made landfall.
Hurricane Helene officially making landfall. What are you feeling? What are you seeing?
Yeah, Category 4 landfall, 140 mile per hour winds.
The
Here
storm
it
has
made
made
landfall
landfall.
about 10
It's official.
miles southwest of Perry, which actually puts it east of Tallahassee and maybe on a path to skirt Tallahassee instead of going right over it, which might be a little bit of a relief for the people here. That said, this is a huge storm in terms of how wide it is. So the hurricane force winds and the tropical storm force winds will spread over a huge part of the panhandle, the upper panhandle, and into Georgia. But this storm made landfall with 140 mile per hour winds, and it's moving
Now we're
very,
listening.
very quickly.
Yeah, we had to
which
cut him
means
off.
that it will maintain its
Um,
hurricane force.
I got the
as it
information you
moves
sent
over
me,
northern Florida
but
and
I don't
into
know which
Georgia,
one of these
and
cruise
that's where we'll
lines
bring the trees down, the power
Robert's
lines,
mother
and
is
create
on.
even more problems. The
Robert, do you know the
storm
name?
surge numbers that we are going to
What
get from the
company?
Big Bend area in Florida,
What
I
company?
can
I got
only
all the
imagine what
companies
they will be. If
in
that
front of me here.
storm made landfall with what they're saying 140 mile per hour winds, it must have pushed
140
so
mile
much
per
water
hour winds.
up into those areas. I suppose the only saving grace is there aren't too
Carnival?
many people who live along the coast in the Big Bend
Carnival.
area, and hopefully most of them were able to get away. But now that the storm has made landfall, it's all about watching where it goes and the damage that it leaves behind. Perry,
Chunky?
which is just
Yeah,
10
you all are
miles
in the
north
path.
of where it made landfall, that already experienced Hurricane Debbie,
Carnival
which was
Cruise.
what, a month
All right.
ago. And then
Thank you.
last year, I was trying to get through Perry.
Let's see.
at
Carnival
Hurricane
Cruise Line
Idalia, and
changed
you couldn't get
itineraries
through
for
because there
5
was so
ships.
much tree damage
We got
there.
5
So it's going to be
ships
very
for the
difficult
Carnival Cruise
for
Lines
that
here,
town over the next several hours, Laura.
including Carnival
John Berman,
Paradise,
so important, and we were
Carnival
listening to the
Value,
governor talking and saying to everyone,
Valor,
you got to hunker
which
down.
canceled
There was
visits to
expected only the
Cozumel on
landfall with the
Tuesday.
surge
Carnival
and the
Breeze
water that was going to
has
continue to
also
rise.
canceled,
The hazardous conditions, be wary of the standing water, be wary
with
of
Jacksonville
the
and
down
Tampa
power lines that
expected
could
to be
also be
impacted
there
by
as well. And
Helene's
to take
landfall.
precautions,
The
and as
upcoming
John was saying, to
cruise
treat
of
it
the
as if
Carnival
it were a
Elation and
tornado
the
with
Carnival
those
Paradise
huge force.
have
I
been
mean,
adjusted.
140 mile per hour winds and thinking about that eye of the storm. Don't be fooled, Governor DeSantis said, by the
Mother,
calm that might come.
listen.
This is not
Mother
the time
Nature
to look
is
around
fine.
it. I want to go to the Tallahassee mayor
Mother
right now
Nature
because
is
they are
fine.
bracing for what many
I
call the
understand when
most
people say
powerful
those
storm to
things,
hit the
right?
city,
But Mother
potentially in
Nature has
written
been doing
history.
storms
The
all
mayor
of
of
their existence.
Tallahassee, Mayor John
We just
Daley,
keep
joins me
building
now.
in the
Mayor, thank
path
you for joining us. We've
and
just
not taking the
heard that
steps
landfall has
necessary
happened. The governor was
to
speaking.
even
Tell us
reinforce
what
and build
Tallahassee is
societies to
experiencing right
withstand them.
now.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and you're right.
Mother Nature's fine. Mother
Just
Nature's
had
used to
landfall. I
storm.
can hear it outside. I'm probably
I
about a
mean,
full block
whales,
from where
fish get
John
out the way
Berman
of
is
storm.
reporting at, and I'm at City Hall right
And
now.
even if man
And
drives
you can tell
climate
we have
change to our own
one
existence,
heck of a storm
Mother
going on
Nature will
outside right
recover
now.
without
And,
us.
yeah, I'm thinking about also all the surrounding communities outside of Tallahassee. We are all getting hit very hard.
Historically, your city has been spared sometimes the worst when hurricanes come through the Florida Panhandle, and yet and still
Big
you're
Ben.
concerned. The people in the community are concerned, those around you as well. What is your message to people
Robert
who have not experienced a storm quite like this before?
wasn't going to mention
Well,
that all
actually, none
night
of us
now,
have experienced a
but yes,
Category 4
there are
hurricane this
reports
close to Tallahassee.
of rescue
This is a
officers,
historic
and
storm
that's what I
for
was
us.
alluding to.
And I
Robert,
appreciate you
all
reiterating
the
right now,
Carnival,
everyone stay
all of the
safe,
Carnival cruise
shelter in
lines
place, stay home.
were
Yes, I
rerouted
think we can
either back to
expect
their
a lot of damage
destination
after this storm.
or to
Significant
another
wind
port
event going on right now,
outside the
significant
storm
rain
area.
event.
And it
We
also
are
says they're
not a
also
coastal
making
community. We're about
they're
30 miles
ensuring
inshore,
that all
so
their
we're not as
passengers
concerned with the
are
storm
safe
surge for
and will
Tallahassee as much as we
return,
are known for our trees, and we love our trees, and internationally known
offering a
for
7-day
our natural
cruise.
beauty. But trees and power lines and winds do not
But
mix.
September the
So we are
27th
reminding the residents, and quite frankly, being
is
honest,
looking like when
recovery
they're
is going
being
to take a
pushed back
while.
to. And
It
I'm
is not
sure
going to
that
be a
if the
sprint.
port is
It's going to be a
damaged or there is
marathon.
no way
But the city
for
is
them to make
prepared, and once the
landfall
storm
where they
passes
were,
and
well,
it is
for them
safe,
to make
we're going to roll up our
docking where they
sleeves.
were supposed
We're going
to,
to get out and do
it
the
would probably be
assessment
at the
and begin
nearest carnival
rebuilding.
location in the
And
area.
I'm glad you mentioned not only the natural beauty, but the prospect of the wind and the impact on those trees and what it could possibly bring down.
5 or 6 in the
The wind
morning.
is not the only concern as well. I mean, the National Weather
Yeah, I have
Service is
another
warning
map.
of potentially catastrophic
Let me pull up
flash
my other
flooding
map
that could
while
also occur.
Correct.
How is the city preparing for that?
So we've been preparing for the past week alone. The city manages all the utilities in town. One of our key utilities is not only electric, but
You
also
good? You got
stormwater.
all the information,
And the
Robert?
great men and women of the city of Tallahassee Utility Department have been out cleaning out all the stormwater facilities, making sure that we can capture, top
When is
capacity,
Galena
be able to
due
convey
to
the water
make
through. But
landfall
nonetheless,
on
we
Atlanta?
have above average rainfall in Tallahassee. We've been saturated. And when you dump this amount of rain on top
Yeah,
of an already saturated ground, yes, you have the potential for flash floods. It's part of the reason why Leon County, our county government, also put out a mandatory evacuation from manufactured homes for the wind event, but also for the rain event that could take place too.
I mean, Tallahassee,
James
capital of
Kemp.
Florida, I wonder how important it is for the city to get up and running as quickly as possible
Port.
to manage
I
not
would
only
think
what's
they would
happening
probably
there in Tallahassee, but also statewide
all the
relief
ones
efforts.
west.
Of
I would say
course. So we have learned from previous storms that it's
to the north will probably dock
Having said
in
that, when Mother
Mobile.
Nature sends
Mobile
a
is large
Category
enough
4
to handle them,
hurricane
and
your way,
everybody
you're
else
going to have
probably will
damages.
go around to
But
Miami.
nonetheless, we put out an all call across the
We here got
United
a ton of
States and
rain.
called
It's
in our
really
mutual
coming
aid
down.
agreements. We've had utility
All right,
workers
let me
who
tell you.
perform way of
Can you all need me to
work,
turn that down in
traveling
the
from Atlanta
background,
to come help us.
or can
We
you
have
all hear
tripled our
me?
workforce prior to the storm. We
Can
stationed
you
our
all hear me?
assets all across the community. Our
Or you need me to
personnel
turn
is
down the
safe all
background?
across the community, and we are fully prepared once the storm
I want
passes
to tell
and
you
it's
what
safe.
Governor Kemp
Go
said
out,
in
assess,
Georgia.
and begin the
All right,
rebuilding
good.
process. We also expect more mutual
Governor
aid to come
Kemp
in
has
after the
declared a
storm,
state of
and our goal
emergency
is
for
to
all
increase our
59
workforce
counties
fivefold. But
in
nonetheless,
Georgia
it is a
in
very
response to
powerful
the
storm that
impending
is currently
officer. A
moving
number of
through
the
our
governor's
area,
office
and
will
there
be
will be
closed on
significant
Friday.
damage.
He gives a
Mayor
list
John
of
Daley,
shelters. Anybody
after the
need a
touchdown, the
shelter?
landfall has
Just let me
happened.
know.
We are concerned and looking at your city and so many
Hurricane
others. Please stay
Helena
safe.
is
Thank
centered
you so
just off
much.
the coast. That was
Yes,
updated
ma'am.
because it
Thank you.
just made landfall.
There is much more coverage on Hurricane
There will
Helene
be
that
major
has just
rain
made
and wind in the
landfall
event in
as a
Georgia on
Category
Thursday and Friday.
4. More in just a moment.
So you all expecting 8 to 12 inches of rain.
A Chewy order is on the way for...
trying to look for a
who can
time.
speak for himself, but can't shop for himself. So when he gave his rue of approval on the
Okay.
food Dad bought on Chewy, Dad put it on
Y'all
auto
are
ship. So it
projected
always gets delivered right on Rue's
into
schedule.
Georgia. Yeah, about
The
6
flavor he
a.m. in the
loves,
morning.
the savings they love.
About, like you said, between 5 and 6 a.m.
For
in the
automatic
morning,
delivery and
expected to
5%
hit
savings, for
Atlanta.
life with pets, there's Chewy.
Here we are
It
driving
is,
down the road, and all of a sudden, bang! There's a crack in our
and this
windshield.
storm,
You know what we can do now,
the
though,
path
right?
of this
Go to
storm,
safelight.com.
it is, at this,
And we're good to go.
and it's moving so
We're replacing
quick,
the windshield for you.
it is
Can we go in there with you?
New cars come
expected
with
to have
cameras
either
that control
Category
your
1
automatic
or
braking systems.
tropical
And
storm
lane
winds
departure.
when it
What
reaches
you do needs to
Atlanta.
get recalibrated when you get your windshield replaced.
You get a crack in your
Yeah,
windshield, there's only one
Chunky,
choice.
no hitting the road for work. Yeah,
So we went to
almost a
Lexington.
million people are out of power right now, Petra.
Had dinner on the
What's
court
up,
by
Cam?
Madison Square
I
Garden.
see you. Not
Right
ignoring you.
next to the pit at race week.
Experience the world as an insider.
I'm doing well, Bella Live. How are you all doing?
All with Chief
How are you all
Sapphire
doing?
Reserve.
Thursday Night Football on Prime. It's on.
Ready to have some fun?
Right, got another image.
The Dallas Cowboys take on the New York
If you stay in a flood zone or high surge area, true. Put an axe in your. Put an axe on in your. I see. You saw the message from Jason. Yeah.
Thursday Night Football.
I was watching another line and they announced out a power number. All right. So we're getting, yeah, Atlanta. Y'all are right dab in the path. Tallahassee, you're in the path. And looking at this, it should be in Tallahassee by midnight. I mean, the eye of the storm. You all are already receiving wind because the storm extended 400 miles from the eye. So you all, people in Georgia, hold on, update.
Not that I'm complaining.
The Penguin, streaming exclusively on Max.
Let me get to the
Where are you headed?
Where am I headed? Am I just going to take what the market gives me?
people in Georgia are losing power already. Doing all right, watching this storm unfold. Local. Do you all notice? Did you all notice that CNN will put the ads on, but they won't put? You can see the ads on CNN, but when it comes back to the weather report, it's going to black it out. Doing all right, watching this storm unfold. Local officials told the folks refused to evacuate. Yes, I just mentioned that. It made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, Cam.
The Penguin, streaming exclusively on Max.
We will have thunderstorms in Marietta, Georgia. You will have thunderstorms and tornado warnings of 400 miles within the landfall area.
Pigment is no exception. It's time to
Yeah.
get a proven choice.
And I was telling
Store
Petra.
what's yours. Opsilura is the first and only FDA-approved prescription treatment.
Yeah,
for
you have
non-segmental vitiligo.
tornado warnings
Proven to
extending
help
out 400 miles. You
skin
should check
over
out
time.
Ryan Hell's
Restoring
on
what's
YouTube.
yours.
He's
It's possible.
our
With a
sole source of
steroid-free
weather
cream that you
during
can
massive
apply
events like this.
yourself.
He pulls about 100K viewers. I'm good. I got you. I appreciate it, but I don't need it. I have a team that is doing research. I have 8 screens around me from various weather channels that I pass on. So I appreciate that. I'm good. I just like I tell people about research. I do my own research and I do my own coverage.
Dermatologist today about starting or
Yeah,
refilling
so
Opsilura.
I am in the bat cave. If anybody who follows me will tell you, I have 8 screens. Now y'all see this? Y'all see how CNN does? And then when they come back, they black it out. But that's why we got up. But it is official. Helene has made landfall.
4 storm. Let's go back to John Berman in Tallahassee.
Like
John,
say,
we're
Petra's,
hearing the storm has turned deadly. Is that right? What happened?
Yeah, it's
Listen
so
to this.
interesting. Even before the storm made landfall, it turned deadly. There was a driver, Governor DeSantis just reported, who died on I-4, Interstate 4. That's down, I believe, near Pinellas and Hillsdale County, Hillsborough, which is the St. Pete, Tampa area. The driver hit by a sign that was falling or swept by the wind, and that just illustrates the danger of being out on the roads during this storm. I don't know how much
How
earlier
about
that
its mouth?
was, but you can get a sense of how dangerous it is, because that was, 50, 60, 70 miles from where the eye of the storm was passing. It didn't make landfall anywhere near that part of Florida. Of course, it did just make landfall southwest of Perry, and it's now moving up here. I will tell you, one of the things we have started to see here is flashes, and it's a little bit hard to tell whether we're seeing lightning or transformers go boom. I'm pretty sure one of them, at least, was a transformer, which doesn't bode well for
Part
the
that gets
power
me.
situation. Power
Yes,
will
this is
almost
John.
certainly
This is
go out
John
in
Berman
parts of
in the
Leon County
storm,
where I am, but I do
and,
also think
and
we're
he's in
seeing
Leon
lightning. But there
County,
is one
outside,
relatively
telling
new
people to stay
development here. One of the
inside.
things you do see when you're out in these hurricanes is you see these blue lights
Climate change is
flashing
going to
in the
directly
sky, and
affect
those
how
are the
many powerful
transformers. And
hurricanes we
sure
see,
enough,
longer
that's a
seasons
sure
and whatnot.
sign that the
True,
power is about to go out,
but
Laura.
A really big
yeah,
concern. Here we are in the dead of night.
climate
And of
change is
course, as
going
the
to
governor
directly
was
impact this,
speaking, talking about
and
what could
climate
come in the
change is
morning, be
also
wary of the standing water. You may not have
racially
anticipated. And of
motivated.
course, some of that
It's
structural
going to have
damage
racially
and the downed
motivated
power lines.
impacts in these
Very,
low-lying
very
areas that
dangerous
are
not to approach
inhabited by
them.
Black and
I
brown
get a
people
sense, of course, that there
around the
will be
world.
some moment of calm, and as you've experienced
It's
likely
going to
before,
affect
but
poverty
that is
because
not to
people
lull
without
someone
means are
into
not going to
a
be able
false
to
sense of
move from in
comfort.
front of these storms on a regular basis, like
No,
those
there are
with
really two
means are
things
going to
there,
be
Laura.
able to.
One, first, there is a moment of calm if you're in the eye of the storm. There really is. If you're in the eye of a hurricane like this one that's so big, there will be several minutes where the north wall passes over you,
This
but then
storm
there's almost
is
nothing. There's an
moving
eerie
at
calm.
22 miles
Don't
per hour,
go
I think
out
now,
in it. Now, the one nice thing is it's the middle of
and
the
it is
night at
still
this
being
point almost, so
termed
hopefully
a
people are
Category
asleep and
4
they won't even
storm
think about
even
that.
after
But Governor
making
DeSantis
landfall.
did warn about that. The other calm that people need to be aware of is in the morning around here after the storm really does pass through. After you
Category
open your
4,
door and maybe walk out
70
in your
miles,
yard, all
45 miles
kinds
east
of
southeast
dangers
of
will be around,
Tallahassee,
from the
Florida.
downed
It's about
trees to the
45
downed
miles. The
branches to the
eye
downed power
is about
lines to the
45 miles
standing
east of
water.
Tallahassee at this
Really
time.
dangerous to drive around even tomorrow morning once this storm passes, because
Yeah,
you
we'll
don't know
talk about
what's
that
under
later
that
here.
water. You
Let's
don't know
focus
how
on this
deep
one,
it is. You
Petra.
don't know if
Just
the
give me
roads are
information on
passable.
this one.
So
We'll focus
often
on that
there
one
are
later.
accidents, there are
Let's get people
injuries,
through
there
this
are
one right
deaths,
now.
even the day after a storm like this passes through. Again, this is
All
really
right.
just the beginning for northern Florida. Over the next several hours, there's going
Let's
to be
see.
so much more damage that people have to be alert and aware of.
John Berman, stand by. We will come back. 140-mile-per-hour winds, landing to
140
landfall,
mile
touching
per
down
hour
as a
wind
Category
still.
4. This is the hour where the Florida Panhandle is experiencing the worst of Helene. And in Taylor County, Florida, the local sheriff is urging people who did not evacuate to write their names and the date of birth on their arms. That way, authorities can identify them in case
If
the
you or
worst
someone you
case
know choose
scenario
not to
develops.
evacuate,
I can't even
please write your
imagine
name,
that.
birth date, and
The city
important
of Perry
information on your
is in
arm or
Taylor
leg.
County.
I
And
read that.
Ward Kettering, the
I
mayor
read
of
that when we
Perry,
first came
joins
on.
me now. Mayor, thank you for being here this evening. I understand you're taking shelter at an airport. What are you experiencing right now?
Right now, the eye is actually going right over us. The winds has subsided just a little. The rain has stopped. But I want
So
to warn
at this
everybody that it
speed,
is going to pick up again once the eye actually
right,
passes. And so
at
I don't
this
know if you have
speed, it should be in
a radar shot.
Tallahassee
You can show the
fully
screen of
within the next 2
what's
hours.
going on right now. But if you can see, the eye wall is actually
It should be, the eye should be
moving
passing over
northeast.
Tallahassee in the next 2
And
hours.
in about another probably 20 or 30 minutes,
I
the
feel for the
wind
people
and the
who
rain
couldn't
will
get
pick
out,
up
not
again.
by choice. I
And
feel that,
I said, what we're experiencing right now is just
but
an
Taylor
enormous amount of
County,
rain and an
they
enormous
offered people
amount
that
of
couldn't
wind.
afford it, they
And
offered
it
to
was
take
a
them out.
very powerful storm. And we still got have to go through.
Again, that eye of the storm, don't be fooled. All is
Yeah.
not calm, it's temporary. And in fact, the county sheriff, I just read it, issued that just scary message, very ominous to anyone who did not evacuate. Do you have a sense of how many people decided to stay in Perry as opposed to
15-minute warning.
evacuate?
We're gonna give me like
Honestly,
30
we
minutes,
have no
Jay.
idea knowing that.
Give me to like
We
11.
just we can't.
Let's
I
go
can't
to
take a guess
11:30
on
on the
that.
radio.
It makes you shudder to think
Let's go
of
to
that
11:30
warning
on the radio at
and the
least,
worst case scenarios, particularly as you're
so
seeing
we can
a
make sure
sense of
people are
calm,
getting this
knowing that
information in
it's
case
likely
they
the
don't
worst is
have
yet to
television.
come. Your city is taking a direct hit from this monster storm. It's a Category 4, Mayor. How
This is
concerned
one
are
of the
you about
times.
those who
This
did
is one of the reasons
decide
I
to
do
ride out
radio
the storm?
also, because
I'm fairly
this
concerned. I mean, I know a
information.
lot of the houses can hold up to it. Some
Sometimes
of
when
them
you
can.
can't
It
get
just depends on how they're
other
built
signals, you can get radio, and I
so
can
forth. But
modulate the
I
television
just really
stations
hope
onto
everybody came
radio.
through this okay.
So everybody listening on
I
the
really hope we don't have
GCPR,
any,
this is what's happening right now,
anybody hurt or anybody.
and we'll bring you this information as long as possible. If whatever
I
we have
certainly
to
hope
do,
so,
like I
too.
say,
We
Thomas not gonna
absolutely,
throw me
we're
off the
all thinking
radio.
about that when we see the landfall being made and the risk. I mean, how well prepared is your city to handle this kind of storm and eventually the aftermath?
Well, we went through Adelia last year, and then just about a
Y'all
month
just
ago, we went through Debbie.
make sure y'all let me
And
know if you
we
can't hear
have a
the
crew, a
background
bunch of people
at
working for
any
the city of
time.
Perry
I
and
want to
Taylor
make sure
County.
I turned it up
We've been getting
more for the
prepared all week
radio,
long. The
because
power
we
crews
getting
been
it, but make sure
getting
that
prepared to
it
come
doesn't
in.
go
We've
out.
been staging outside
You all
the
will know
city.
before I do.
You know, I mean, several, like a couple hundred miles outside
All
the
right,
city.
Chunky, get some rest and
And they're
stay
prepared
out
to
of that
come in
storm
the
tomorrow
morning.
morning. All
City of
right,
Perry Public Works.
no problem, Chucky. Just stay
They've
out.
been working, getting
Call
generators
in.
and other things they need in
Yeah,
place.
stay.
Make sure the
Don't
water,
try to get on
sewer,
that
and
220
gas systems stay up and running.
Atlanta.
And they're doing a fantastic
You all
job.
hunker down
I really
if you're in the
appreciate
area
them
and
doing
didn't do
that.
like I do and go to
And
Memphis. I never
like I
forget
said, we're just
Katrina was
trying
so
to.
powerful that
We
it
were
caused
pretty
a
well
tornado
prepared.
outbreak in Wisconsin like 4
I don't know
days after
I
it
don't know if
made
you can ever get
landfall.
totally
Correct.
prepared for something like this, but
Did you hear me, Jay?
we've definitely been through a lot in the past.
You've been watching all of this, and I wonder, is your city getting any calls? Are you hearing from
Florida.
people who are asking for help to try to evacuate or try to get to safety? Are you receiving those calls? Oh, I think we lost him for a second there, but we're watching right now this satellite image. You see the eye, you see the moving, the pace of this. Remember, this is 140 miles per hour that's happening right now. Let's go back to CNN meteorologist Derek Van Dam in Apalachicola, Florida. You are in the Big Bend area where the hurricane just made landfall. It's a category.
So we lost that.
Category 4. What are the conditions there right now?
Officials warn of unsurvivable storm surge.
List of superlatives that are going to be used to describe the storm is going to be long. It's going to be exhaustive. Here, I think we were really spared the worst because we're about 50 miles to the west of where the most powerful
Florida.
part of Major Hurricane Helene
I hope
made
everyone's
landfall.
stocked up on
They're
groceries
in Taylor County,
because of this
again,
hurricane.
just to my east, and they are getting run to the storm. The most intense part
I hope
of the
everybody's
storm,
stocked up on
put
what
it
they
into context,
could,
give you a little bit of
and we
idea how
managed to
powerful the
get,
storm was
like
upon
I say,
landfall.
we'll be
Ian, back in 2022,
contacting,
made landfall near Fort Myers
and this
Beach.
is,
Remember the
I know you all
devastation
get
that
tired of
came
me
in there?
harping
That
on
came
it,
in
but
at
this also is
941
how it
millibars.
impacts
Millibars
the
is the central pressure of a
community of
hurricane.
those who happen to be
A
homeless.
lower number means
You know,
a stronger hurricane.
sometimes when these
This
situations,
storm
we don't think
came in
about those who
onshore
happen to
with
be
a
homeless
low
as
pressure
much as
of
we should.
938
They're
millibars. So
going
in
to be
essence,
directly
a
impacted
stronger,
by this.
more powerful,
They could,
deeper,
they
more
don't have
intense
the
hurricane
means
than
to
Ian
evacuate certain
actually
areas
was.
in a
So
timely
I
manner.
really do fear
So
what the
I
daylight will
know
bring
it's
tomorrow
probably
morning.
going to be destruction
Just
for
seeing
people
some of
that
these
have
nighttime
homes.
shots on social media,
But if you can, make
dimly
sure
lit
we reach
photos
out to the
of
those
some of the
communities that
devastation that
happen
we're
to be
seeing
homeless
coming out of the
in those
coastline
areas
there.
also, and make
Steinhatchee,
sure we
Perry,
do what we can do.
It is going to be quite a sight tomorrow morning, and I'm concerned about the people who are enduring
That's
these very,
sustained
very
winds
moments
with
because
wind
we
gusts
here in
up to
Apalachicola were
100.
spared. But
And this is
you
still
know, right now
now,
we've got
after
this
landfall,
extreme wind
400
warning,
miles of this
and
storm is
this
still
extends
offshore.
from Taylor County through
Understand
Madison
that.
County northward into Georgia
400,
now, Valdosta under the
they have
extreme
gusts
wind
up to
warning.
150
And
miles
I've talked
per
about
hour
this
with
quite a few
sustained
times
wind
tonight,
speeds
but
of
it's important because
140.
these are only reserved for the most extreme moments of a storm of this magnitude.
But,
So, you
yeah,
know, the National
I'm
Weather
gonna make
Service,
sure
when
I
they
get
talk
with
about
agencies.
these extreme
You
wind
should
warnings,
see
they're
you
asking
should see
residents who
Tampa
decided not to
already.
evacuate to
The
treat this
flood,
as if
the
a
flooding in Tampa
tornado
already,
is
Cam.
approaching your house, and we know how damaging tornadoes can be. So that is really the extent of what this storm is bringing to a vast, vast area here in the Big Bend of Florida, and quickly racing inland as well. I think this part is extremely
Services to
important
help people
as well
relocate,
for
but
people
wow,
to
this is
understand.
so scary.
This
Hope the
storm
ones that
is
stay
moving at
survive.
roughly
I hope the
25
ones that
miles per
stay
hour
survive
inland.
also.
And
But
yes,
I
now
do
it's
understand
onshore,
that they will.
effectively
The sheriff
losing
said he
its
would not be
energy
sending
source,
out
which was the warm
emergency
Gulf of
services
Mexico
until it's
waters.
safe,
But now it's going to move inland
and
so
I can't
quickly that
blame him for that
before it even has time to collapse on itself,
because I've
before it has
witnessed
time
so
to
many
really weaken, it's
emergency
going to bring
services
these
lose their lives
hurricane force winds,
going out
category 2,
and trying to
category 3,
save people
even up
because
to
that's what they
category
want to
4,
do.
well inland. And we're
They
talking
want to save
not 10
people, but
miles
it's
inland,
not
not
safe
50
to
miles
go
inland,
out
but
in the
several
eye
hundred
of the
miles
storm.
inland. I mean, just as a
A
meteorologist
friend of mine
watching the
that's between Tampa and
hurricane
Fort
alerts,
Myers posted
the
about six
tropical
hours
storm
ago
warnings
that
and
winds were
hurricane warnings that
196
extend as
miles
far
per hour.
north as Macon,
That was
Georgia, the
that was the
southern
upward gust.
metropolitan of Atlanta, Georgia. I can't even
Like I'm looking
recall
at
the last time
the wind chart
that
right
we
now,
saw those
and it's
colors of
fluctuating
warnings on
between
the National Weather
145
Service
and
maps. So it astounds me to
163
see that. And
still.
take it from me, my family, who
And this is
is
on
bunkering
on
downside
land
in
wind
our
gusts.
home in Atlanta. We're taking this
Ohio
storm really
Storm Chaser
seriously because
posted a
that's the
picture of a
next
small
chapter
house
of this
stacked
storm.
up
As
below
it
where
moves
he is,
inland, it's going to bring those
northeast
powerful
quadrant.
winds to
The
large
tornadoes with hurricanes
metropolitan
are so
areas.
dangerous because they
It's
just
going to
spin
knock
up
over trees.
all of
People
that
need to be
instability
prepared to
atmosphere
ride
right
out
in wind
several
shear.
days without electricity.
So
And
like I
then
said,
we
we're
talk
going to
about the
run late on the
unprecedented and
radio
historic
on
nature of the flooding
WGCPR.
that is ongoing
I
right
know
now
you
across
all
the
are
mountains of North Carolina,
to
South
listening,
Carolina.
but we're
There will
going to run a
certainly
little
be
late.
swift water rescues.
Well, I won't say
There
late, a
will
little
be
longer,
extreme
so
moments
people
tonight
that have
and into
radio
the early morning hours of
can
Friday
get this
that
information.
we
In
don't
case you
want
don't have
anyone to have to bear
television
witness to, but unfortunately,
and
that's
you
the
just have
reality of this
radio,
storm.
we're going to continue to
Laura,
broadcast
it's
this
a sobering
information
reminder of how
at
powerful
least
nature can be.
for another 30, 35,
Yeah, I fear
35,
what
40, an
daylight's going to
hour,
bring tomorrow.
whatever it takes.
I'm telling you, just thinking
We're
about this, the
going to
number of
do it
states you've mentioned, the
because in
scope
that
of this
area,
category
you
4,
all are being
thinking how quickly it's
pummeled.
traveling. Most storms are
And it's
losing that speed and momentum. It hit at 140 miles per hour. Derek Van Dam, stand by. We've got much more coverage on Hurricane
they
Helene,
did.
a
I
category
can't.
4, moving rapidly, not only from Florida,
Petra,
but all the way up
research.
and through
Last
places
time
like
storm
Georgia.
surge
Soon,
was between
we've got more in
15 and
just a
20
moment.
feet along the coast from a hurricane. Yeah, y'all not gonna give me this. Well, now I'm gonna let it play. So make sure the radio has some sound on it. I'm gonna make sure it plays because if I turn it off, I might turn it back on while I'm talking. But I don't want the radio audience to miss any of this information. Um, Cajun Navy is already ready to start saving people. Right. The Cajun Navy is great. I've seen them when I was in Rolling Fork, Mississippi. After they were there, they 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 met me there. The Cajun Navy was there when I got there with supplies when we went to Rolling Fork, and that was just a spectacular. And I guarantee you, they'll beat me to Tallahassee because they'll be coming from Louisiana, and we'll be providing supplies. I mean, we've sent truckloads of food, and from Mississippi to other areas. But we will definitely. I feel bad for the homeless, those who have to be homeless. They have to deal with the hurricane. Yes, I'm not going to be, but I want you to understand that a 20-foot storm surge is non-survivable for those who happen to be homeless in that area. That is a non-survivable event for them. So that's why I say make sure you check out because I will be reaching out to everyone I can in that area to see what we can do. Because there's another thing I tell you, as somebody who goes into these areas after storms, it is best to coordinate with people on the ground and to make sure that you coming won't be a problem that takes away from search and rescue efforts. And you can't make sure you can't bring large trucks into the area. Make sure if you do go and you get to make sure you take a vehicle that is prepared to go off road if it has to. Um, make sure all those things and make sure one of the main things you take is water. Understand that power is out. People are not going to be able to cook things, have to be cooked. Make sure you take things that could be eaten and prepared without heat. And make sure you take lots of water or you donate lots of water. Okay? Yeah. I, yeah. So make sure, or you find reputable organizations you want to donate to and assist them. But like I say, I look at what we can do, those of us who are used to this. I know what the Red Cross does, I know what everybody does, but those it's never enough when we're talking about an impact of this. People were talking about the Red Cross and Rolling Fork like you didn't have to go, but we went and we set up food trucks and everything because the Red Cross was overwhelmed by the destruction also. We keep saying what other people, what we expect other people to do. I'm talking about what I expect us that are able to do. We put so much on these agencies, and then we'll say, well, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do this? And I'll be like, why didn't you go help them? I'm talking about reaching out and helping the people that are helped, because then when something doesn't happen, you all are always complaining, but you're sitting on your couch not doing anything. So I need, I need if you're able to, reach in your pocket, make donations. If you're in near and you have time, go and lend a body. It is a lot that can be done. Right. Good point, Pirate. Donate blood. There's going to be those in need of blood. Think about the hospitals that are in these areas that are going to be without power and what they're going to lose. So we always sit back and wait for other people to do things. Well, I'm talking about how you can make a difference at this point. All right.
Back with the breaking news on Hurricane Helene, we're told 2 people died in Georgia from a tornado tied to this storm.
Georgia.
In addition to the 1 death
2
reported
people have
already
died in Georgia
Florida.
to a
As the
tornado.
storm moves
Tornado is
inland,
touched
more
down
than
in
a
Georgia
million people
associated
are
with the
now
storm.
without power in Florida alone.
A
Joining me
million
now on the
people in
phone,
Florida
the
alone are
Emergency
without
Management
power.
Director for Levy County in Florida, John McDonald. Levy County includes Cedar Key, which is facing serious storm surge. John, thank you for joining us. Cedar Key, it's a barrier island 3 miles off the coast of Florida. What have you heard about what's happening there right now?
Yeah, well, they've got the storm surge is coming in for it there. We've already the last number that I got on my measurements on my tide gauges and all that stuff, they're right at about 10-foot AGL. That is the high storm surge record for them. The old storm of the century back in '93, that low pressure system, that was a little under 9. So this is actually the highest surge I've ever seen. It's still going to be going up, so I would expect them to be somewhere maybe around 11, 12 by the time this is done.
The highest you've ever seen, 10 feet. That's unbelievable to think about just the height of what that surge would look like. Have you heard reports about people being stranded, John?
Amazing.
We had about, we did the ones that didn't evacuate, we got the addresses and all that so that we know where those folks are located at. Until conditions get to where, it's safe to go out there and go around and go door to door and make sure those folks are all right. On the island itself, actually everybody on our whole coastline, we've got about 117 people that didn't evacuate.
117 people that didn't evacuate an island.
Cedar Key or on Cedar Key and is riding out the storm, likely one of those 117. He told our own Anderson Cooper that he doesn't even know if Cedar Key will exist come morning. Are you worried about how bad the damage could be?
Not so much. I mean, they've got a big hill out there, so that hill's about probably 35 feet up to the top of it. So they have an elevated place they can go when that surge started coming in. So I'm sure most of those probably collected up at the community center or the city hall up at the top of the hill. But yeah, I mean, those structures and all that stuff there, it's going to be lucky to see if any of them structures are still there, especially some of them closer out to the dock street. But that 117 number, that was the whole coastline, coastal communities. We've got another small coastal community called Yankeetown, which is on the south end of Levy County on the Withlacoochee River. That one's mostly residential, but out of that 117, about 25
Picture
of them
those islands he's talking about.
I wonder, just given that whole coast, how soon would you be able to even get emergency services out there?
Well, we already have things pre-staged in place out there to go. So as soon as it's not too dangerous to get out there, we'll start making an attempt with some search and rescue teams and all that out there. And what we'll do is we'll go hit those addresses where we know where those individuals were.
John McDonald, thank you so much. We wish you all the best and safety. We certainly hope everyone will be safe there. Thank you so much. I want to bring in a councilman at large in Tampa Bay, Florida. Councilman, thank you for joining us. I mean, you have been riding out the storm with your family. What are you experiencing right now?
You know, it's crazy to see a storm of this magnitude come up the coast, be so far away from us, and still see the kind of devastation that we're witnessing in Tampa. Widespread flooding. I'm sure tomorrow we're going to wake up to catastrophic property damage. What would normally be a road looks more like an ocean now. There's water rising all over the city and continues to rise. I'm getting reports from across the city of devastating flooding.
What has it been like for your family knowing that this is happening? I mean, roads turn to oceans, reports of damage. It must be very, very scary.
Well, you know, I think being in Florida, and of course I grew up in Florida where we kind of trained for this our whole lives, but I've lived in Tampa now for over 40 years and I've never seen anything quite like this. This is one of those, what they tell you is going to happen and then it happens. It's kind of, it's shocking to see it firsthand, to see the kind of rapid water rise and the type of damage that we see around the city.
What type of damage are you seeing or hearing about?
A lot of widespread flooding of homes where people are having 3-4 feet of water inside their houses, furniture floating. You're seeing a lot of, the typical stuff that you would see in a normal storm. But the storm surge was nothing to mess with. It was exactly what they told us was coming. It has met every bit of the expectations. They told us what was coming, and it showed up.
This is certainly not an incident of people crying wolf, and I certainly hope everyone will be safe. Councilman Alan Clendenin, thank you for joining us. We'll keep an eye out. Please stay safe. More on this massive category storm, Hurricane Helene, which just made landfall. You've heard from people what they said was coming.
7.9
it
feet
arrived.
surge.
There's more in just a moment.
Record storm surges all up and down the coast of Florida.
Welcome to Sapphire Lounge
Of
by the
course,
Club.
we get the commercials, y'all.
This is more than a place to hide away before you
We
get
get
away.
the commercials. Like that, I'm just
It's
going
a
to let them
main
play
course
for the
before
sake of the
main
radio.
event. It's the best
What's up,
seat
Thug
before
Life?
boarding. It's
We
a real
have known
reason to
since it
arrive
was a
early.
tropical storm that it was going to be
This
a Cat 3 or
is
4.
what an airport
Yes.
lounge is supposed to be.
And Petra hit on an interesting thing, right? Because
Chase
as someone who
Sapphire
grew up on the coast, and I
Make
tell
more
you,
of what's yours.
grew up on the coast, seen plenty of hurricanes
Good morning, everybody.
coming.
We are here to discuss the
Like I say,
say,
anything over tropical storm, TNathan never tried to ride out. No. I understand, but I've heard every excuse for why people stay for storms, and none of them have any validity.
Wait, no, I'm always hot.
None of them. I'm talking about people staying. Talking about I don't want people going to raid my house while I'm gone. You'll be alive. You'll be alive. I'm gonna tell you, it's called insurance, and if you can't afford insurance, then I'm sure you don't have anything worth dying for at your house. Yeah. Get out of these areas. I was talking about Katrina and people on the beach that never had seen a storm, or Camille and people having parties on the beach.
More from my antidepressant. Vraylar helped give it a lift. Adding Vraylar to an
If the house is either going to be there and in pieces, or be there safe, or not be there. But you being in it is not going to help. And then you're looking at, like he just said in Tampa, you're looking at 9 feet of flooding. You're looking at Cedar Keys, 11 feet, 11 feet of water. And I mean, this happens in minutes.
Weight gain and high cholesterol may occur.
And Florida has had a wet season already. So flash flooding,
dizziness, increased appetite,
let's think about flash flooding. A lot of these rivers are going to flash flood up the river.
Change my treatment. I just gave it a lift. Ask about
I mean,
Vraylar and learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Like I say, even without the
That looks really high.
assist of global warming, because we want to burn fossil fuels like we're trying to destroy a whole petrified forest a day.
Whoa, is that a buffalo?
Babe, that's a cow.
Right.
The Subaru
Farmer
Crosstrek
Almanac is calling
Wilderness.
for an early
Adventure
and wet
on the
winter
edge.
this year.
Get great low rates on any Subaru
So
Crosstrek
we're
for
gonna
a limited
add
time.
snowstorms to
My
the mix
moderate to severe Crohn's
this winter.
symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Sky Rizzy.
We're gonna add ocean levels increasing. I wish winds run out
And
so
now
winds
I'm back
before
in the picture. Feel significant symptom relief at 4 weeks with Sky Rizzy, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements. Sky Rizzy helped visibly
So
improve damage at the
we're
intestinal
looking
lining.
at
And with Sky
landfall.
Rizzy, many
We're
were
looking
in
at the
remission
storms
at 12 weeks,
high to
at
reach
1 year, and
Tallahassee
even at
within
2
the
years.
next hour and
Serious
15
allergic
minutes.
reactions and an increased risk of infections or a
Um,
lower ability
and
to fight
like I
them may
say,
occur. Tell your doctor if you have
I
an
have not
infection
seen
or
them
symptoms,
down.
not
Has
a
anybody
vaccine
seen them
or plantar.
downgrade the storm
Liver
from a Cat
problems may
4
occur in
yet?
Crohn's disease. Ask your
1 million
gastroenterologist how to
without
take
power.
control of your
2
Crohn's
dead in
with Sky
Florida.
Rizzy.
1 dead in Florida. They started nuking
Learn
each
how
other
AbbVie
over
could
the
help
last
you
bit
save.
of oil. Let's be honest with ourselves. And this,
¿También tienes uno nuevo?
this is amazing to
Es
me.
increíble,
We
¿no?
have a storm
Es
that
mucho
has
mejor que
been
el
on
anterior.
land,
Y
over
voy a tener otro el
land now,
próximo año. ¿Y qué piensa tu esposa? Ni voy a tener que
and it
rogarte.
is still
Este tiene
gusting
camera
up
control.
wind gusts of up to
Es
160
increíble.
miles per hour.
Trae a casa la felicidad
People
de
don't
nuevo
realize,
al
even when the
por
eye
cuenta
passes
nuestra.
over,
Y hazlo una y otra
the
vez con el
other
último
half
iPhone
of the
cada año
storm
con
is
AT&T
behind the
Next Up
eye.
Anytime.
80 miles, 45 miles east southeast of Tallahassee, Florida,
This
as
is
a Category
CNN
4.
Breaking News.
It's midnight on the East Coast as we continue
Midnight
our
on the East
breaking new
Coast.
coverage of Hurricane Helene. It just made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 storm, and it's already turned deadly. We just learned that at least 3 people have been killed, 1 in Florida, 2 in Georgia. The storm coming ashore 10 miles south of Perry, Florida, less than an hour ago, where winds up to 140 miles per hour are lashing the town as we speak. Those extreme winds snapping power lines all across the region. More than 1 million people are already without power in Florida and also Georgia. One utility company warning that Helene will cause, quote, significant damage to energy infrastructure. But the wind, that's just one of the dangers in this storm that spans more than
East Florida,
400 miles.
underground,
The storm
underwater.
surge is inundating streets in Clearwater, Florida, near Tampa. Some places could see a surge as high as 20
Wind speed is still
feet.
between
And up to a foot of
131
rain
and
or more could cause
155.
potentially catastrophic flooding all across Florida and the southeast region. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is warning people the worst isn't over yet.
The worst is not over yet. Don't let
You
him
need
talk
to
too
be
long.
right now just hunkering down. Now's not the time to be going out. Not only are we seeing it hit landfall here in northern Florida, you're still seeing surge and water rising in parts of Florida far south from the Big Bend area.
Let's go to Derek Van Dam, who joins us from Apalachicola on the Florida
This is what
Panhandle.
people be
What
dying.
are you seeing right now?
Okay, so, you know, we were spared the worst of what Hurricane Helene had to offer, but there's no doubt in my mind that people who decided to ride out this storm might had
He's breaking up real bad.
We're starting to lose sound for him. We're going to come back in just a moment and get back to what's going on in Apalachicola. Spare
Excuse
but he's
my
expressing
call
the
log.
concern about what's happening around the region as well. Let's go to Chad Myers right now. Chad, this storm, it made landfall. It's a Category 4. It's already turned deadly.
Absolutely. And now,
Now,
Perry,
hold on,
you
man.
are right in the middle of the eye. Literally, you may be able to look up and see the sky. eye wall did make landfall. The center of the eye then made landfall there south of Perry, and now the center of the eye is right there. And now we're actually going to see Berman here pick up a little bit of wind as Tallahassee gets on the west side of what's now an expanding eye. And that's really what's going to happen. We're not going to get this tightening of the eye. Sometimes we can when we get something called a brown ocean. Brown ocean is really a very warm, saturated ground. And it looks like ground, but it's really maybe a swamp or a bayou. That's not going to slow down a storm. This land here is actually going to cut off the moisture from the hurricane's potential and slow the thing down. But we've had so much rainfall, Laura. We've had 3 to 10 inches of rainfall in what's called a precursor rain event. It rained before the hurricane even arrived up to the north. Now, this is a saltwater flood. This is the 15 to 20-foot saltwater surge, the wind pushing on land now, taking all of that water that is here, pushing it into Cedar Key, pushing it into Steinhatchee. This is what I'm really concerned about because we're seeing those water levels rise very quickly. And we know people didn't evacuate. So, yes, Cedar Key, 7.9 feet of surge so far on top of what your high tide should be. Here's where the rain is still going to fall. Look how much rain has fallen here. We have 7 to 10 inches already in Nashville, another 3 to 4 inches here. Nashville is where the storm is actually going to stall. This is going to rain for a few days over Nashville. Macon, Atlanta, you're going to see the rainfall, and now we even have flash flood warnings just really almost all the way up and down I-75. This is what we expected it to do when you have hurricane warnings to the north of Macon, essentially in the southern suburbs of Atlanta. Hurricane warning means not that the storm's going to go by. It means you're going to get hurricane conditions, and they're going to get that to the north of Macon, Georgia. I do know that there are an awful lot of people here on the road, at least earlier. Now you need to truly be off because the wind on I-75 and I-10 is certainly going to get well in excess of 80 to 85 miles per hour. So far, we're kind of piling up 80s and 90s for wind speeds, but we know that this storm was 140 somewhere. We just may not have any kind of an anemometer there to actually see what it was because a lot of the area from Cedar Key, Steinhatchee, all the way up to and around almost to Apalachicola is a national wildlife refuge. Not a lot of people live there. I guess that's some good news except for the wildlife. But really, 15 inches of rainfall has already fallen and it's still raining. One last thing, Laura, to worry about tonight. Make sure you keep your radio on if you are in yellow, orange, maybe even into the green.
We're going to keep the radio on.
Small tornadoes, but they spin up quickly, and they've already done some damage already today, even though they're small.
We're going to keep the radio on for y'all. Our radio station is based in Georgia.
If it hits your house or your RV or wherever you're living, so keep that in mind.
Hurricanes, tornadoes, Chad Myers, we will definitely stand by and continue to follow what's going on. Thank you so much. And I want to go back right now to Derek Van Dam. He's in Apalachicola. Derek, I think we have your sound, and of course we're hearing about you being spared the worst of it, but that doesn't mean you're out of the water, in the clear.
No, definitely not. We still have several hours to go before the storm completely clears. It'll be gusty. We'll get the occasional rain gusts. But really spared the worst from what Hurricane Helene offered just 50 miles to my east. And my heart breaks for the people who are going through what is undoubtedly the worst night of their life. And so powerfully, it really took advantage of that abnormally warm ocean waters, and it's going to leave a path of destruction that is going to be tough to see once we get first light in the morning. You know, there's this extreme wind warning, and a new extreme warning has actually just been issued by the National Weather Service. And I want to read you this because they've got it in bold and highlighted. They say this is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening
I got a video I'm going to share with you after this.
Places in Madison County, northern Taylor County, take cover now. Treat these imminent extreme winds as if a tornado was approaching and immediately move into a safe room of your house or your shelter. So this is what people are dealing with if they chose not to evacuate. Here in Franklin County, where I'm located, there was mandatory evacuations, but there were certainly people who decided to ride it out, and we can honestly say they got lucky. But that is just not the case for so many others who are now plunged into darkness. We're fortunate to have power here still. But as this storm makes its rampage northward, I-75, I-10, these are the areas you do not want to be on the road. Chad was talking about it.
You do not want to be on the road.
That have these extreme wind warnings, and think about the amount of truckers that drive up and down north and south and east and west over those areas, getting buffeted by 100-mile-per-hour hurricane force Category 2 winds. That'll topple, jackknife 18-wheelers in a heartbeat. There's going to be trees down. There's going to be power down. We have already reached 1 million customers without power, and that number is going to continue to climb exponentially. And, you know, as this storm interacts with an approaching front that we have been discussing for the past couple of days, it is going to squeeze out all of the tropical moisture that it carried in from the Gulf of Mexico, and you guessed it, it's going to form and deposit that in the form of heavy rainfall. And that's ongoing. And I'm really worried about those mountainous regions up in the southern Appalachian, western North Carolina, western portions of South Carolina, even portions of Georgia into the...
Pause that for a minute. We're going to look at some of the videos that are coming in from people right now. Hold tight. We're going to bring these videos up.
I'm in Perry. Yes, I appreciate all of you guys telling the people to stop yelling. Honestly, I'm not yelling on purpose. It is very, very loud. When I tell you these winds are actually insane, it is very, very loud. So I have to yell so you guys hear what I'm saying. Woo! W for the power. W for the power that just went out. W's in the chat for the power that just went out. W's. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. Do you think that the power is going to stay out this time, or you think that it's going to shine back up again? I wonder if we could move the car to right here, or do you think that... Oh, no, it's back on, you guys. Oh, God, it's out again. Oh, my gosh. Woo. It's back on, you guys. Win. Win for the power that just went back on. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. We gotta wait for the power to go back on, you guys. I think I'm pretty sure I got that. Oh, God.
Is anybody thinking what I'm thinking?
Okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can record from here. Thank you for all the gifts and gifts and everything, you guys. Like I said, 10:45 to 11 o'clock was gonna be the worst of this storm. Hopefully the power goes back on over there. Turn on the high beams. Are the high beams on?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but it doesn't look as good. It doesn't. The shot doesn't look as good from right there. Whew. Why don't you get my headlamp? See if you can get my headlamp. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna try to get my headlamp out, you guys. But there's a lot simply say, you guys, to the 26,000 people that are in here, that all of the power is out in the area. All of the power is out. Oh. Yeah, but I'm getting so much water on the camera, though. And look, we gotta put these stuff in. The batteries and stuff fell out. There's a car driving in this, you guys. There's actually a car driving in this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Prayers to that person right there. I would not feel safe enough to drive in these conditions. Oh my gosh. Do you guys see that? Okay. Oh, you guys. Thank you to the 24,000 people that are in here. Let me see if I can. Oh. Let me see if I can. Why don't you? Oh. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to have to record from right here. Let me see your phone. I want to get this on camera. No, because there's no power. Okay. There's no power. It was fun. Guys, the shot that I got was fun while it lasted when the power was on, but unfortunately this storm has knocked out all of the power in the area. So
I am yeah. I'm a little speechless. I guess she loves the thrill. I guess so, Jazz. I have another one I want to show you. That is in Tampa. That was in Tampa. Let's go. I have one that I want to show you all. I think I have another.
woo! Woo!
Storm chasing. Y'all can, I guess I can't say anything. Storm chasing is one thing. Whatever that was they were doing is a total another thing. Um, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Hold tight, and I'm gonna get another video up because I'm getting them.
Woo! I'm in Perry. Yes,
Oh, sorry, that was from Perry. That was from Perry. I apologize for that. I'm trying to get this one up. What is this one? Try again. Still sending that. Okay, I have another one, and this one is not in Perry. This one is, where's this one, Petra? Yeah. But let me go back to, while we get that ready, let's go back to.
Things out. It looks like most people heeded the warnings and they
Can y'all
evacuated,
hear?
which is good to see. We haven't seen too many people walking around.
That's a good thing. Adam, Lucio, keep us posted while you're chasing this storm. Thank you so much. Look, there are still about 100 people who are still in the town of Cedar Key, Florida. It's a barrier island that's getting hammered by Helene storm surge. And one of those residents is with me now. Bobby Witt a lifelong Floridian and a boat captain. Bobby, you are riding this storm out on a boat. What are you experiencing right now?
Yes, hello.
You experienced
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Wow.
It is rough ride, real rough ride.
How rough are we talking? My God.
Well, a little hard to stand up in the boat. It's rocking and rolling so bad. But the wind has eased off just a little, and now the tides come in, and I'm seeing a lot of water.
How high are you experiencing this water? Can you estimate how high this is? How much farther higher above your boat?
Well, the boat goes on up. I'm looking down at everything now. I'm looking down at the world. I'd say it's at least a 10-foot surge, something like that. Maybe more. It's a lot of water.
Why did you decide to ride out? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I know the town's got to be flooded if it's doing that right here. And like I say, the winds we had a couple of hours ago were, I'm sure, 100.
Records a live flooding like we do. And that's it. This is it. We're in Hurricane Helen here in Tampa, floating around, living it up. Let's see what's out here. You guys want to go in the backyard? It's just, the wind is nice, and there's no wind in here. Wow, I'm hearing the craziest sounds in here, guys. Let's see what's out here. If we open this up, will the water come up or down? What do you guys think? All right, back door's open. 31,000 people watching this Florida man canoe in his house. Going out the back door here, guys. We're in the backyard now. There used to be a pool here. That's all a river. I don't know how the power is still on. I don't get it. The boat is still here somehow. This is incredible. 34,000 people in here, guys. I appreciate you. Like and share the live. Like and share the live. It costs nothing. And yeah, we're here in Tampa, Florida. That's Rick's on the river, if you guys know where that's at. And the river is fully flooded. The river is in the house. The house is in the river. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but we're here and we're in good spirits. I just don't want my little plants to float away. I don't know. I got concerns. The water's rising. This is a 6-foot fence. You know, we're here. Tampa, Florida, hornblasters.com. Somehow we still have power. It's quite a miracle. Hopefully the battery packs are all charging.
It's him breaking up. It's not us. That's him. Video's still moving. So I guess he had some issues there. But yeah.
Records a live flooding like we do.
Yeah, I just want to go on official record as saying that no. Nope. I will come in and assist after the fact, but I am not going to be there with you during the fact. I am going to be. The storm is 400 miles from the eye to the outer edge. I'm going to be 500 miles away from landfall in a direction that the storm is not heading.
Per mile an hour
Yeah.
over. It's just incredibly bad
Yeah,
wind.
I won't be mean.
The wind, the surge, and you're on a boat. Why did you decide to ride the hurricane on that boat?
He on a boat riding the hurricane out.
To keep it safe and to keep an eye on my property here, and
Listen to this.
save as much of my business as I can. It's a water-based
How you gonna
business
save
here.
your business against a 140
and
mile
just
per hour wind?
that's what I've done
What
my
you gonna
whole
do?
life.
Stand in front of
I've
it?
been a
Your
waterman my
bodyguard?
whole life, and that's what some of us do. Stay with our boats, protect them.
It's your livelihood. We understand that. And thinking about what things look like, Cedar Key had been hit by a powerful hurricane just last year. And you rode that one out too and said that was the
No,
worst
I
one
don't
you've
understand.
encountered. Is this one worse?
I'm going out there.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe I say that every time, but this was a bad one. And it's still windy. I mean, it's still, I don't know what it is, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, but nothing like it was. But
Hey,
yeah,
he didn't
no,
stay in the house. He was on a boat in a storm with 160 mile per hour
We
wind.
are thinking about you and all the people who are making their living and their lives as watermen as well around the community. And it's just how unsafe of a condition you must be in right now. Please try to stay as safe as you can.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hurricane Helene made landfall just about 10 miles south of Perry, Florida, which is where my next guest is.
Has anybody but me seen the perfect storm?
He's also a storm chaser.
I wouldn't have been on that boat either.
Aaron, just moments ago, we obtained this video of power that was going out in a Perry, Florida neighborhood. You are there right now. What are you seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here in Perry, Florida. You're actually showing my live stream right now. I was live streaming the YouTube on my JJack Storm Tracks channel, and we just got absolutely hammered by that eye wall of the hurricane as it came into Perry, Florida here. Now, Perry, Florida last year was also hit by major Hurricane Idalia. And now again this year, getting hit by another major hurricane. We had intense wind gusts here, hurricane force wind gusts, well over hurricane force, approaching that category 3, category 4 strength, causing frequent power.
Snack. Let me get a snack.
Frequent power flickers, stuff flying all over the place. And then we entered the eye of the storm. The eye came through here. We had that calmish eye. We could see birds flying around in the eye. We could see lightning flashes in the eye, a little bit of calmness, strong winds, and you can see those power flashes right now. You guys are showing that video, big time power flashes with sparks flying everywhere. And now we have entered that backside of the storm right now, a little bit drier. So the front side, we were getting hit by heavy rain, strong wind, strong rain. And now we're just getting the occasional strong wind gust, but still very dangerous to be out here in Perry, Florida right now. Fortunately, it seems everybody has stayed indoors. People are hunkered down, keeping themselves safe, keeping their families safe. And we should be out of the worst of it very shortly here. Probably in the next hour, the storm should rip off to the north. This is a fast-moving hurricane. In fact, I am very impressed with how well Perry, Florida has stood up to this hurricane. And it's likely due to Idalia coming through last year, kind of pruning the trees, taking out any kind of weak infrastructure that has now been repaired and made stronger. So I suspect the worst impacts from this hurricane are actually going to be locations to my north, approaching the Valdosta, Georgia area and points northward that have never probably ever seen winds as strong as they are about to experience here overnight tonight across the southeastern part of the United States.
Isn't that fascinating to think about the storms that have come in the last year or more may have prepared the area, not only in preparation for those with infrastructure, but also trying to prune out what may have been weakened structures that could have fallen this time. Are you seeing a lot of damage this time around compared to what you did see with Idalia?
No, Idalia definitely had, at least, it's dark right now, right? We've had lost power. I'm actually surprised we have Walmart right now where we do have power. I'm not sure if they're running on a generator or
That
whatnot.
man sounded so unbothered. Maybe these people want to be in the issue. So these people want to be not found.
And here in Perry from Idalia last year, also a category 4 storm.
All right, you all.
Weakening.
Let's
But again, as I mentioned, I think this area has
I'm going to keep the radio station open so we can continue to broadcast this. I'm going to end the podcast here. I know that's the switch, right? I'm ending the podcast for the radio show. I'm gonna end the podcast here, and I'm gonna go to my main page and open up. So If y'all want to join me, we're going to go to the main page and continue to follow this coverage. But I'm going to end the podcast because I want to show more stuff, and I can't show some of the stuff I want to show or share some things I want to share with the podcast restrictions. So I'm going to close the podcast down, and we're going to take this to my main page. Give me about 5 minutes, get some snacks together, and join me on the main page if y'all can. All right? See you there. Peace.
Senegalese, we are the original jollof.
It's called